Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a topic that, well, touches just about everyone, procrastination. We're going to explore some fascinating insights from Geoffrey L. Lefavi's book, Stop Procrastination, Improve Your Health, Wealth, and Happiness.
It's a great resource.
Yeah, and our mission today is to give you a clear, actionable roadmap to understand and hopefully truly conquer this common challenge.
That's right. If you've ever found yourself, consistently putting things off or wondering why you do it even when you know better, well, this deep dive is definitely for you.
So true.
We'll uncover the core, sometimes surprising reasons behind procrastination and, crucially, unpack a practical 9-step framework.
The framework.
Yeah, designed to help you transform your approach to tasks and projects and ultimately boost your health, wealth, and happiness.
Okay, so let's unpack this right from the top. What exactly is procrastination? I mean, beyond just putting something off until later.
Yeah.
The book gives a really precise definition.
It does. At its heart, procrastination is, and I'm quoting here, not doing something that you know you should be doing, and instead doing something else to feel good now.
Feel good now. That's the key bit, isn't it?
Exactly. The book pinpoints immediate gratification as the primary threat. It emphasizes that procrastination is fundamentally emotional, not logical.
Emotional, not logical.
Like when we all fall into this trap, right? We waste time, we get bored, our minds wander, or maybe we just don't know what to do next. So we pivot. We do something else that feels good right now.
That distinction, that it's emotional, that's powerful.
Yeah.
And the book doesn't just, theorize. It gives some pretty stark real-world examples of what this habit actually costs us.
Oh, absolutely. Procrastination can profoundly damage your health, wealth, and happiness. It's not trivial.
Let's talk health first. The book has a story.
Yeah, it's a true, pretty chilling story of a middle manager. He was in his 40s, apparently a kind guy, but a chronic procrastinator. And he tragically died of a heart attack because he just consistently failed to follow through on his doctor's advice. Diet, lifestyle changes, all of it.
Wow. So it wasn't just like missing one checkup.
No, it was a whole pattern. A cascade of unaddressed actions that had, well, fatal consequences.
That health story is truly sobering. It makes you realize the hidden costs. They could be huge. What about wealth? How does it hit our finances?
Well, for wealth, there's another true story. It highlights a contractor who nearly lost a building permit.
Oh, wow.
And more importantly, a significant client's business. All because of 28 days of excuses and delays. He literally only pushed dirt on the absolute last possible day.
28 days. That's not just cutting it close.
Not at all. And this wasn't just about the money. It damaged his reputation, eroded trust. The book also notes that most employees waste about 25% of their workday.
A quarter. That's huge for employers.
It adds up significantly. And in our personal lives, procrastinators often pay late fees, get lower grades in school, which over time can actually lead to lower paying jobs.
Right, it compounds.
Yeah.
And happiness. That feels maybe more subtle, but just as damaging.
Yeah, for happiness, the book uses a simpler anecdote, like a spouse repeatedly asking for something small to be done.
That sounds familiar to many, I bet.
Right, and the constant postponement of even these small tasks can just erode trust, create tension, and lead to this persistent unhappiness at home. A kind of silent, ongoing friction.
It's easy to misdiagnose ourselves, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, am I procrastinating or just busy? So what does the book tell us isn't procrastination?
That's a really important clarification. It's definitely not procrastination if you're taking a genuine planned vacation.
Okay, good.
Unless, of course, you're using it as an excuse to perpetually avoid work. That's different.
Right.
It's also not procrastination if you're legitimately waiting for critical information or supplies, as long as you can't reasonably work on other related tasks in the meantime.
Makes sense.
And if your boss or spouse asks you to switch gears and work on a different task, that's not procrastination either, provided you've clearly communicated about any other, maybe more important tasks you are already on.
Communication is key there.
Absolutely. And finally, getting genuinely sick, truly unable to work. That is not procrastination. The author is explicit. You shouldn't feel guilty about this. And honestly, most companies prefer you take sick leave rather than spreading it around.
Okay, that's helpful. So given these profound costs and distinctions, it really begs the question, why do we keep doing this to ourselves? The book digs deep here.
It really does. It gets into the underlying motivations.
And it's not just about a lack of discipline, right? The book really emphasizes how our emotions play such a central role.
Precisely. The book stresses that emotions are key. Many people harbor this underlying fear of being unacceptable somehow.
Unacceptable. How so?
Like their work won't be good enough or they'll fail. So they use immediate gratification, scrolling online, snacking, whatever, to feel good right now. It pushes away tasks that bring up negative emotions like anxiety, fear of failure, or even just boredom.
So we're avoiding the feeling, not just the task.
Exactly. The book says procrastinators often plot against time rather than working on the task. They spend their energy trying to figure out how not to work.
Plotting against time. I like that phrase.
It ties directly into our brain's easy path rule, you know?
Yeah.
We instinctively choose something easy over something we perceive as hard.
So it's about choosing the path of least resistance, emotionally speaking. What makes a task feel hard enough to trigger this avoidance pattern?
Well, several key factors. Tasks that are just plain boring, lacking interest.
Oh,
Tasks that seem difficult, maybe sparking that fear of failure or even ridicule. Things that feel too time-consuming, like they require these huge, daunting blocks of effort.
the overwhelming ones.
Right. Or tasks where distractions are just too readily available. Easy diversions. We also tend to overestimate how unpleasant a task will actually be.
Oh, interesting. We make it worse in our heads.
Often, yes. It seems worse than it is. Or we simply feel overloaded because we're trying to juggle too many things at once.
Okay, so what does this all mean for our brains?
Mm-hmm.
Is procrastination, located in a specific spot? Or is it something else entirely?
Well, you might think the prefrontal cortex, right? Your brain's command center for planning, impulse control.
Seems logical.
It does. But a crucial point the book makes is that procrastination is fundamentally a learned behavior. It's essentially a bad habit.
A habit, not a disease.
Exactly. It's not a physical condition. There's no pill for it, no surgery. It really requires taking responsibility and deliberately practicing new habits.
So it's on us to change it.
Yes. And it also clarifies, importantly, that intelligence levels don't really affect procrastination. Highly intelligent people can absolutely be chronic procrastinators.
So it's not about being smart or not smart. It's this learned pattern.
Yeah.
But are there some cases where it's, maybe beyond just a bad habit?
The book does make a specific note about ADHD, attention deficit disorder, or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Okay.
People with ADHD will experience procrastination because of the core symptoms. Things like zoning out, extreme distractibility, difficulty focusing, poor organizational skills.
Right. Those make tasks incredibly hard.
Exactly. So the book strongly advises seeing a physician if you identify strongly with those symptoms, because those are serious medical conditions needing professional help. It's not just a habit in those cases.
That's a critical distinction.
Hmm.
Now, the book talks about chronic versus non-chronic procrastinators.
Yeah.
What are the telltale signs of someone really stuck in that chronic pattern?
Yeah, the chronic procrastinators often display a cluster of specific attributes. They tend to have underlying self-worth issues. You'll often hear them saying things like, I'm totally swamped, or I will try, and they might appear kind of frantic.
The constant busyness signal.
Yeah, right. Or they might be overly social as a way to avoid work. Or conversely, they might hide away. Their desks could be either extremely messy or almost meticulously neat.
Oh, interesting. Both extremes.
Yes, that super neatness can be its own form of elaborate avoidance. They often do things last minute, like Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve, constantly checking email,
A classic.
or creating these really elaborate to-do lists but not actually completing the tasks. The book estimates about 30% of fanatical list makers spend more time managing their lists than doing what's on them.
Wow. Okay. Another form of procrastination itself.
Precisely. They deeply seek that immediate gratification, and it all feeds into this downward spiral of depression and more procrastination.
That's a vivid picture of someone really caught in that cycle. So this raises an important question. If it's a habit, does that mean, time management is the straightforward solution? Just get a better planner.
Not directly, no. And this is a really key distinction the book makes. It argues that chronic procrastinators need self-management first, not just time management.
Self-management,
Meaning addressing the underlying emotional drivers, the habits, the mindset. In fact, new time management systems can actually become just another project they procrastinate on starting.
Oh, that's almost ironic.
Mm-hmm.
The tool becomes a task to avoid.
Exactly.
Right.
So while good time management is definitely beneficial, it's not the cure. It's a valuable tool once you're already on the path to overcoming the root habit.
Okay, self-management first. And the book points to a really direct link between this chronic procrastination and stress, right?
Absolutely. Being constantly behind, always feeling that pressure, it creates immense stress. And that stress, in turn, profoundly impacts your physical health.
How so? What are the signs?
Well, the book lists 7 specific signs of stress that it directly connects to the constant pressure of chronic procrastination. Things like sore, bleeding gums.
Really? Gums.
Yeah. Memory loss, hair loss, having crazy dreams, getting hives, jaw pain, and just that drop-dead fatigue.
Wow. Those are very physical, things you might not immediately connect to just putting things off.
Exactly. They're signs of chronic stress overload. And the book suggests immediate techniques to counter this, like yoga breathing.
How does that work?
Simple, really. Just inhale slowly through your nose and then exhale much, much slower through your mouth, feeling it come from your abdomen. Do that for just 2 minutes.
Okay.
Or just getting up and moving. Physical movement is great for breaking that stress cycle and helping you get back on task.
Okay, moving beyond the problems and the stress, the book offers this really powerful vision. Being rich as a direct outcome of curing procrastination. Now, this isn't just about money, is it?
No, not at all. Being rich is presented more as a symptom of not procrastinating.
It's a symptom.
Yeah. The author actually states it's pretty much impossible to find a self-made millionaire who is a chronic procrastinator.
Interesting claim.
It is. But rich in this context also means being rich in life. Having the time, the freedom, the lack of stress to genuinely enjoy time with family, friends, or just yourself.
So it's about abundance in a broader sense. What does this mean for our attitude then? How do financially successful people, according to the book, think in ways that help them avoid procrastination?
Attitude is absolutely key. The book outlines several thought patterns common among self-made financially rich people. For instance, they often believe poverty is the root of all evil.
Whoa, that's a strong take.
It is, but it shows a very positive, proactive attitude towards wealth creation rather than seeing it as something negative or unattainable. They might also see selfishness, in a way, as a virtue.
It's a selfishness.
Meaning they feel okay prioritizing their own projects and goals without excessive guilt. It allows them to focus and execute. They have an action mentality. They see a task, and their default mode is just do it.
Like the Nike slogan.
Exactly. They don't rely on luck. They make things happen. They dream about the future. They learn from past failures without getting bogged down, and they focus intensely on what they will do.
Forward-looking.
Very. And they typically don't have a strong emotional attachment to money itself. It's seen more as a tool, an opportunity, a means to a goal.
Yep.
Crucially, they tend to follow their passion, doing what they love, loving what they do. That naturally fosters the right attitude for getting tasks done. You're motivated.
Intrinsic motivation.
Right. They also tend to live below their means and focus on earning money, actively generating it, not just passively saving it. And finally, they recognize that money can improve health. Better medical care, for example, and significantly reduce stress, which feels a lot like the relief you get from finally completing tasks you've been avoiding.
That's a compelling picture of a really proactive, non-procrastinating mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have a good handle on what it is, what it costs, why we do it, what are the actual steps, what can we do starting today to shift these habits. The book gives us 9 clear steps.
Yes, these steps are designed as a really practical checklist, a framework you can apply to pretty much any project or task you've been putting off.
All right, let's dive in. Step 1, just do it. Sounds almost too simple, but the book unpacks this, right?
It does. The core idea is surprisingly deep. Simply starting a task, any part of it, immediately changes your perception of its difficulty and the stress associated with it.
So the act of starting lowers the fear.
Exactly. The key is to make the threshold for getting started incredibly low. Your very first action should be ridiculously simple and easy, almost trivial, just to break the inertia.
So it's the mental leap from thinking about it to doing something that's the real barrier, maybe not the task itself. And the book even suggests some interesting future self exercises.
Yes, precisely that mental leap. The focus needs to be on starting the task, not on finishing the whole thing right away. And yeah, those future self exercises, like using futureme.org to email your future self,
Right.
they're designed to make your goals feel more concrete, less abstract, and to remind your future self of the positive impact of the actions you're taking now.
Makes sense. And what if you slip up? Which, let's be honest, you probably will.
Oh, inevitably. And the book is very clear on this. Forgive yourself immediately. Don't beat yourself up.
No negative self-talk spiral.
Absolutely not. Don't let negative emotions attach themselves to the task, or you'll just reinforce the procrastination cycle. The book uses a great analogy. When a bucking bronco throws you, dust yourself off and get back on the horse.
Love that. Okay, step 2, prioritize. Now, we just talked about how chronic procrastinators can get lost in list making. So how does the book suggest we make to-do lists genuinely effective?
Right. It clarifies the list is a tool, not the cure itself. The advice is create a simple list. Don't overcomplicate it.
Keep it manageable.
Exactly. Then prioritize the tasks and critically make the very first task on that list something easy, something you can knock off quickly to build momentum.
Get that first win.
Yes. Then, for any big, daunting tasks, break them down into smaller, manageable parts. You can even try making boring tasks into a sort of game, like, okay, how many of these can I get done in the next 20 minutes?
Gamify it a bit.
Yeah, and always, always physically cross off completed tasks. That visual confirmation gives you an immediate sense of accomplishment, a little reward.
That feeling is powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, this also brings up a huge point in modern work. Multitasking. The book seems pretty blunt here.
It is very unequivocal. The book states, basically in bold letters, do not multitask.
Straight up.
Straight up. Studies consistently show people perform worse, they take longer, they make more mistakes when they try to juggle multiple things simultaneously.
Even if they feel productive.
Even then, the clear message is, focus on one task at a time for timely and correct completion, and also manage your overall project load if you just have way too many things on your plate.
Which many of us do.
Right. The advice is actually to get rid of most of them.
Right.
Because trying to do everything often results in accomplishing basically nothing.
Oof. That's a tough pill for some, but probably true. Which leads nicely into step 3, correct attitude. Attitude feels a bit fuzzy sometimes. How does the book make it concrete?
It starts with actively avoiding negative self-talk and emotions about the task. Things like, ugh, this is going to be so hard, or this is pointless.
Catching yourself saying that stuff.
Yes, because research shows we consistently overestimate how unpleasant a task will actually be, and just starting often corrects that negative perception.
So our prediction is often wrong. What about the internal dialogue, our self-talk? Any specific tips there?
There are. Use positive self-talk, definitely. And interestingly, some studies suggest that speaking to yourself in the second person, like, you can do this, you've got this, is actually more effective than using the first person, I can do this.
Huh. Second person. Like coaching yourself.
Kind of, yeah. And a huge one, absolutely crucial for many people, do not be a perfectionist.
Ah, perfectionism. The classic progress killer.
Totally. Striving for impossible perfection often prevents completion altogether. Perfectionists tend to nitpick endlessly, they delay. Starting because conditions aren't perfect, they use the word should constantly.
I should do this better.
Right. Instead, the advice is praise what you have done, accept that mistakes are part of the process, and focus intensely on progress, not on some unattainable ideal of perfection. Get it done, then improve if needed.
Progress over perfection. Got it.
Mm.
But even with a positive attitude, what if a task still just feels overwhelming in the moment?
That's where the book recommends relaxation as an immediate intervention. Try that yoga breathing exercise we mentioned 2 minutes, can really calm the anxiety and help you refocus.
The slow inhale, slower exhale.
Exactly. And longer term, physical exercise is highlighted again as an excellent stress reliever that breaks that cycle of feeling overwhelmed.
Okay. Step 4 is use peer pressure. Now, this sounds potentially bad. Peer pressure usually has negative vibes. How does the book frame this positively?
Yeah, it's about flipping the script. It's about harnessing positive peer pressure. Humans are fundamentally social creatures, right? Accountability works for us.
Okay, so how do we use it?
The advice is to identify a friend, maybe a colleague, or even a group you respect, and then simply tell them about your project or your goal.
Just making it known.
Just making it known. Knowing that someone else is aware of your commitment can be a surprisingly strong motivator. And their encouragement, even just a quick, hey, how's that project going, or a good job, when you report progress becomes an additional powerful reward. It reinforces your actions.
So it's less about fear of judgment and more about positive accountability and shared progress. That makes sense. And it leads naturally to step 5. Reward yourself. Now, wait, we said immediate gratification was the problem.
Yeah, good catch.
So how do rewards fit in without just being more procrastination?
That's the crucial distinction the book makes. These aren't random feel-good-now distractions. These are progress awards. They are rewards for completing a task or a significant part of it on time.
Earned rewards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Earned. The simple act of crossing tasks off your list, that's a basic reward. Telling people about your accomplishment, leveraging that positive peer pressure, another reward.
Okay. What other kinds of rewards?
Well, ideas include treating yourself to breakfast after you finish that morning task, allowing yourself to go online, maybe check social media, as a specific reward for completing a block of work, not as a distraction during it.
Using the temptation as the prize.
Precisely. Maybe visiting a museum on a weekday if you hit a big milestone, or even taking a friend out for dinner. There's actually a study cited that found spending money on others can bring more joy than spending it on ourselves. So the reward feels even better.
Interesting. Okay, step 6. Find your perfect time of day. It sounds intuitive, morning person, night owl, but how much does it really matter?
According to the book, it significantly impacts productivity. It really stresses understanding your own circadian rhythms, your body's natural 24-hour cycle of alertness and energy.
Our internal clock.
Exactly. It even mentions there's a morning-evening quiz in the appendix of the book to help you figure out your peak productivity time.
Oh, handy.
Yeah. And the advice is straightforward. Schedule your most important, most challenging tasks during those peak energy periods.
Work with your body, not against it.
Right. And interestingly, it also notes that during your less alert times, you might actually be more creative. So maybe use those periods for brainstorming or different kinds of thinking work.
That's a useful tip. And the foundation for all of this, regardless of timing.
Sleep. Absolutely non-negotiable. The book cannot stress enough the importance of prioritizing 17 hours of quality sleep.
Even if you think you function fine on less.
Even then, the book argues you probably don't. Not really. Lack of sleep demonstrably ages your brain, tanks your productivity, and directly fuels that procrastination spiral. It makes everything harder.
Okay, message received. Prioritize sleep. Step 7 is use reminders. Seems basic, but how does the book suggest we make reminders more effective, beyond just a calendar alert?
The goal is to make reminders reduce pressure and stress, not just add another annoying notification. The book suggests engaging multiple senses, multiple parts of your brain.
Multi-sensory reminders.
Yeah.
Like what?
Okay, so visual cues, obvious ones like Post-it notes, but put them in really prominent, unmissable places. Sound. Use voicemail reminders for yourself. Or maybe even associate a specific type of music with a task.
Music cues.
Yeah, even smell. The book gives the example of putting a tiny drop of motor oil somewhere noticeable if you need to remember to mow the lawn. It creates a really direct, visceral link.
Wow, that's specific. Smell reminders.
And touch. Maybe leaving an object related to the task like a file or a tool physically on your chair so you have to move it before you sit down.
Can't ignore that.
Right. And of course, leverage technology, your smartphone alarms and apps, and also ask friends for help. Hey, can you ping me at 3 p.m. to make sure I started that report? It's about creating a web of reminders so things don't slip through.
Making it almost impossible to forget or ignore. Okay, step 8. Get rid of temptations. This feels like a massive one in today's world. What are the key strategies here?
This is huge. First, you have to know your specific weaknesses. What tempts you most?
Social media, news sites, email.
Common culprits. So the advice is practical. Turn off email notifications entirely. Only check email during planned breaks, not constantly.
Break the Pavlovian response.
Exactly. Turn off cell phones, or at least put them on silent and out of sight while you're working. Practice out of sight, out of mind by physically moving distracting items, your phone, the TV remote, video game controllers out of your immediate workspace.
Make friction work for you.
Precisely. For impulsive actions, like suddenly thinking, I need to go grab a coffee, build in a deliberate 10-minute delay. Just wait 10 minutes, often the urge passes.
The 10-minute rule.
Yeah. Be especially wary of social networking sites. They are designed for quick, immediate rewards, making them prime procrastination traps. The author shares a great personal story.
Oh, yeah.
He actually reduced his home internet speed intentionally, made it slightly less appealing to just randomly browse. And he calculated he gained back about 4.5 hours of productive time per week just from that one change.
Wow. Slower internet made him more productive.
That's counterintuitive, but makes sense. It really illustrates the hidden time cost. And if your self-discipline is really struggling, he suggests considering software tools that actively block distracting websites during your designated work hours.
Using technology to fight technology's distractions. Okay. And finally, step 9. Eat right, sleep right. We talked about sleep, but it comes back to overall physical well-being.
It absolutely does. It's foundational. Your body and your mind are completely interconnected. Fatigue makes every single job seem more unpleasant, more difficult, easier to put off.
Fuels the I don't want to feel.
Totally. So ensure you get that 78 hours of sleep. Again, even if you think you need less, the book really insists you probably don't. Lack of sleep directly impacts productivity, judgment, mood, everything needed to tackle tasks.
Okay. And food. Any specific advice beyond eat healthy?
The general rule offered is pretty simple. What's good for your heart is generally good for your mind, which makes sense given how much blood the brain requires. Like 40% of the heart's work is pumping blood up there.
Right. Brain fuel.
So focus on good nutrition. Drink plenty of water. Dehydration impacts focus too. And maybe avoid diet sodas, which can have other negative effects. The underlying principle is incredibly simple, really. Eat when you're hungry, sleep when you're tired. Following those basic signals is actually a direct path to success because it keeps your mind and body primed and ready to perform.
Eat when hungry, sleep when tired. Sounds simple, but hard to follow sometimes. So let's wrap this up. What does this all mean? We've journeyed through the world of procrastination, its subtle emotional traps, its costs, and now this clear, practical path out via Geoffrey Lefavi's 9 steps. It's a challenge, no doubt, something we all face. But I think the most powerful takeaway for me is that it's a learned behavior.
That's the hopeful message, isn't it?
Yeah, which means it absolutely can be unlearned. It's not a fixed personality trait.
Precisely. And with deliberate practice, consistent application of these kinds of strategies, you really can significantly increase your efficiency, profoundly reduce your stress levels, and ultimately genuinely achieve a healthier, wealthier, and happier life. It's possible.
Okay, so for you, the listener, maybe consider this. If you could just apply step 1, just do it, to one single task you've been avoiding, maybe something small that's been nagging at you, or just the very first, simplest step on a bigger project.
Just one small start.
Yeah. What ripple effect might that single act of overcoming inertia have on your day, maybe your whole week, your outlook? And what might that small, intentional step reveal about other areas in your life where just a little bit of action could unlock a whole lot of potential?
Good question to ponder.
That's your thought to mull over until our next deep dive.